Hi, good afternoon or good morning, depending on your time zone. And thank you for joining us for today's webinar on setting up open enrollment in Sage HRMS. Today, amongst other things, we're going to take a look at how to modify an existing rate table in Sage HRMS and how to create new benefit insurance plans to be used in open enrollment. Presenting for you today is our training specialist, Lynn Klee. And with that, Lynn, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thanks, Ben. Well, as Ben said, everyone, my name is Lynn Klee, and I'm a trainer here at Sage. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Sage HRMS Learning Series. These are free one-hour webinars, and we have started off with 3 of them. The first one that we're doing today is setting up open enrollment in Sage HRMS. We do have another 2 webinars scheduled, expiring benefits, where you can expire a benefit for one employee or all employees. And the third one in the series deals with crystal reports. We start with the report sections, a very beginner level, and then we also introduce some advanced topics, such as the parameter fields, how to set up a parameter field and use it in the Select Expert. Perhaps you only want to run a report for employees that have checks on a certain date, or you only want to see active employees. Your phones should already be muted during this presentation. You can post your questions in the question panel. You can undock the question panel and expand it for better viewing. So please take a moment now and just click on that little heading and expand it out. Please do not use chat. The reason that we're using the question section is at the end of this presentation, we will be making all the questions and answers available on Sage City. And I'll give you a link later on and tell you where everything's located. So again, just as a reminder, if you have any questions and you need to communicate with us for any reason, please post them in the question panel and not the chat. I'd also like to direct your attention in the handout section. Please open up your handout that's located in your control panel. We will be doing several exercises. I will be demoing them on the screen, so you don't have to take heavy notes. You can use this training aid, and it will walk us through setting up open enrollment inside Sage HRMS. So just as a reminder, your phone will be muted, and please use the questions section. Now, this webinar is being recorded, and it will be made available several hours at the end of this presentation. It'll be available on the registration page. In today's session, setting up open enrollment in Sage HRMS, we're going to focus on a couple of items. We want to ensure that benefit plans are set up correctly in Sage HRMS for open enrollment in ESS. We'll create a new benefit insurance plan that will be used in ESS open enrollment. We'll change a benefit rate table in HRMS. We'll select which benefits should be available to use in open enrollment. All of this is done from the HRMS module, from that product. Now, these topics we will cover in the next 40 minutes are just a small excerpt from a 2-day training class. Now, as you can imagine, the entire setup of open enrollment for a 2-day class cannot be reasonably covered in this 1-hour webinar. So today's goal is to get you started with what needs to be done in HRMS before beginning open enrollment in ESS. For those of you that are interested in learning about the entire setup of open enrollment, including ESS, I just want to take about a brief 3 minutes of your time today to show you how you can access this class on Sage University. I'm just going to open up my browser. And I'm going to go to sageu.com/HRMS. And when you scroll down on the right-hand side is View Training by Subject. I'm going to click on this icon. And on the left-hand side, you have your different products or modules. I'm going to click on Sage Employee Self-Service. When I scroll down, I can see that what we're training today is part of the Sage Employee Self-Service Benefits enrollment from start to finish. If I click on it, I can get more information about this training course. And this is all located in the handout that you should have opened up by now. And if I scroll down, I can actually add it to my cart and enroll. If I go back one level, there's a second training class, and it is from setup to effective use. So if you still want to learn more about ESS, not just about open enrollment, we get into customizations, view builder, more of the day-to-day emailing things. How do I handle ESS, navigate? How do I approve someone's time off? So a lot of good information out here on Sage University. So again, just to recap, you go to that URL, sageu.com/HRMS, click on View Training by Subject, select your module, Sage Employee Self-Service, and you will be able to see that class. Now, customers with Gold Support receive 50% off the HRMS instructor-led training, and Anytime Learning videos are free. Free. That is one of my favorite words. If you enroll in Sage HRMS instructor-led training course, we have a discount code. So be sure to enter this code. If you have Gold Support, you get 50% off, and use this code and you'll get an additional 10% on top of the 50. Now, if you don't have Gold Support, don't worry. This is a great opportunity for you to get 10% off. Everyone can use this code. So again, here's that URL to go to if you're interested in any additional training. Now, on the handout on page 4 and 5 is information about Sage University and the classes that are offered there. Now, is everyone ready to learn more about setting up open enrollment in Sage HRMS? Well, let's get started. Let's go back to the handout, and we'll start on page 5. So I'm going to open up my handout now, and I'm going to bring up my image with Sage HRMS. Now we're going to start off on page 5, the introduction. Before you begin setting up open enrollment in ESS, we need to make sure that the HRMS environment is set up. And there's a small checklist here, and we've got 5 steps. We're going to be covering steps 2 to 5, but I do want to mention that first step is to run the duplicate key report. Now, this is located on the server where ESS is installed. You go to the Start button, you go inside ESS and select System Maintenance. One of the tabs there is to run a duplicate key report. The reason you want to do this is you want to make sure that the data is good. Our program's written in SQL, and it doesn't like duplicates. So before we roll out an open enrollment, let's make sure the data is good and run that duplicate key report. What we're going to focus on today is steps 2 to 5. The step we're going to start with is making sure that the data inside HRMS is correct. And by that, I mean the setup, that the setup of my benefit and savings plans have valid to and from dates. We're going to add a benefit plan for our open enrollment, a brand new one we're bringing on board. We're going to take an existing rate table and copy it over for our new plan. And then we're going to set up benefit plans and rate tables so that they are available in open enrollment. So let's start with that step number 2. Enter effective from and to dates. So in the navigation pane, I've gone to Setup, Employees, and we're going to focus at the top left-hand corner on the Benefits section. I'm going to go into my insurance plans, and the first thing I want to do at the top right-hand corner is select my employer. And in this case, our U.S. employer is DEU. And I can see here that no plans have been set up. If there are no plans listed, that means that the system is pulling from the enterprise level, the 3 asterisks. If I had one code set up here or more, it wouldn't look at the enterprise. So you'll need to go back to your environment and see what level your codes are set up at. It reads the employer level first. If nothing is there, it will pull from the enterprise level. I'm going to detail the first benefit code in the list. A couple ways I can do it. I can click the plus symbol to the left of the code, or I can highlight the line and at the bottom right, click More. I'm going to go ahead and click that plus symbol. Now down at the bottom are 3 date fields. I like to see all of them populated, but what will break an open enrollment are the from and to dates, and we need to make sure that these two are populated. A quick and easy way to do this is I'm already inside the details, so I'm just going to click Next, and we're going to scroll through these plans. Last week, I added a new plan. It was my dependent life insurance, and wouldn't you know it, I forgot to put in my end date. So I'm going to put in December 31st, 2099, because this is ongoing. I don't know when it will stop. And I'm going to say that the dates were effective on January 1st, 2019. Click my Apply button to save my changes and continue with my next, scrolling through. I'm at the end now, and I know I'm at the end because I can't click Next anymore. So I'm going to click OK, and I've now verified that everything inside my benefit insurance plans is set up correctly with valid to and from dates. In the rule type, you would also want to do the exact same thing for your benefit savings plans. Go into the detail, scroll through them, and make sure they have valid dates in them, that they're populated. Now, another way I can navigate back and forth if I don't want to use the rule type is I can go back to my codes in employees, and we're going to be focusing on the benefit section. Continuing in the handout on page 6, the next topic is to add plans for future enrollment. Now, for our open enrollment, we're going to create a new benefit plan at the enterprise level, and we're going to call it New Medical. So I'm going to go into my insurance plans. Again, I always want to check that employer level. Any codes? No. All my codes reside at the enterprise level. So I'm going to click the Add button. Now in the handout, there's a note, and you may want to highlight this note. And it's just reminding you to make sure you're at the correct level. Just because I'm going in an enterprise doesn't mean that you'll be an enterprise in your environment. So please take a moment and highlight that. I'm going to go ahead and enter my new code. I'm going to call this New Medical. Description is New Medical Plan. Benefit type, medical. The employee contribution is going to be monthly. Is the benefit continuable under COBRA or during a leave of absence? I'm going to say yes, it is. Benefit plan is effect from, well, we already know how important these dates are. And the plan is in effect from the beginning of this year, January 1st, 2019 to December 31st, 2099. And current amounts went into effect on January 1st. Now I'm just following what's in the handout. Someone has already given me the information, my benefit administrator, on how to set up this new benefit plan. And our hope is we're going to use this in our new open enrollment. On the next tab is our coverage amount. And we're going to leave this blank. It's not going to be used for our new medical plan. Another option, if we didn't want the end user to go in and be able to type in information on the employee level for this field, I could also put a 0 in, so they would not have access to it. Now the coverage amount is 4. Doesn't really matter in this case because we're not using this tab. The Employee Premium tab. How much are we being invoiced for an employee only? $120. Now, it's important when you enter an amount that you do not include a dollar sign or a comma. If I wanted to, I could add a decimal. I can even add a decimal and go 00 at the end. The Dependent Premium tab. The monthly dependent premium is $200. And this premium amount represents the total premium for all dependents. So I will leave that as is, selected down below. The next tab is our employee contribution. If a rate table was already here and set up, I would just have to double click on it to select it. In my case, this is a new benefit plan, and I'm going to create our own rate table. So I'm going to go ahead, click OK to save this insurance benefit plan. And the next thing I need to do is work on that rate table for the contribution tab. So I'm going to go into the rate table setup. Now, this table right here, the med rate, is almost identical to the rate table I'm going to set up. So I'm going to show you, instead of just adding a new plan and clicking add and having to do it from scratch, how to copy a rate table. So I click the plus symbol to go into the detail view. And down at the bottom is a button called Copy Table, which I'm going to click. I'm going to give this a new code. So I'm going to call this New Rate. Description, New Medical Rate. Click OK. And now it's copied what was similar to my HMO rate table, except the plan I want to use it for is not the HMO plan. It is my new medical. So I want to count the number of spouses that are attached in the new medical. My second tab, it was counting the number of dependents that are a child in the HMO plan. So again, I'm going to insert the new medical. That is the code for my rate table. Notice when I type it in, I put it in uppercase because my codes are always uppercase. Column 3 isn't being used. The last tab is our rate table tab. So right now we are on page 8 of the handout if you're following along. We've just finished step number 5, column 1 and column 2. Now we're on the rate table, and they have some changes in the handout that we need to make. Now you notice the numbering in the order is slightly different. They've probably deleted some lines over the years in the original rate table. So I'm just going to go through and set these up. So the contribution is, if you have no dependents, the employee contribution is going to be $60. Again, no dollar sign, no commas when you're entering the rate. In line number 2, if you have one spouse, 0 child, your rate will be $75. Line number 3 or order number 3, if you have one spouse and 1 child, your rate is $80. Order number 4, 0 spouse and 99 children, the rate is $130. And I want to add the next line because one doesn't already exist for me to edit. And the last line, and this is on the next page of the handout, if I have 1 spouse and 99 children, in other words, family, the rate is $150. Now, when I'm entering these rates, if I wanted to, I could go decimal or decimal 00. They'll both work. Let's click OK to save this plan. But I'm not done yet. You have to remember to go back and add this to the insurance plan. It's great that I've added this rate table, but I need to circle back and attach it to the plan. So I'm going to go back into my insurance plan. I'm at the enterprise level, and I'm going to go into the new medical, employee contribution. When I scroll down, here's my new rate. I'm going to double click to select it, and we'll put it on the left-hand side. Click OK to save. And I've now created a brand new benefit insurance plan. Our next topic is to select benefit plans and rate tables to be used in open enrollment. Going to go back to the setup for employees, and we've got this other section down at the bottom here, open enrollment. So if I go into insurance plans, the plans that are listed here, and again, I'm going to check my levels here. There's nothing at the employer level. I'm going to go back to the enterprise level. These are the plans that are currently set up to be used in open enrollment in ESS. Now think of it this way. ESS piggybacks onto HRMS. HRMS doesn't really know about ESS. And that's why we've had to go in and make a new benefit plan for any new plans that we're going to use. And then we have to tell and let ESS know what plan that should be available in ESS to use. And this is where we're doing it right here. We're saying, I want these plans to be available in ESS for an open enrollment. But our new medical isn't here. So we want to click Add. And these will be the benefit plans that are not selected. So I'm going to go ahead, double click, and over on the right-hand side, I've now made my new medical plan available for ESS open enrollment. Click OK. So think of working in HRMS as setting the foundation. We're pouring the concrete slab. We want to make sure it's square and correct, that we have valid dates, the to and the from. We have correct rates, that all our plans are available. And we need that before we start working in ESS for the second, third, and fourth level. If we go over and take a look at our savings plans used in enrollment, we have two available. If I click the Add button, I've only got one additional plan. Now, I happen to know from working with this database that I have a lot more savings plans than 3. Can you think of a reason as why a benefit plan, more specifically a savings plan, is missing here? If it's missing from here, which is the part that open enrollment in ESS reads from, it's not going to be inside ESS. Where do I need to go and what do I need to check? Well, earlier I mentioned, and I'll take you back, is we needed to check the to and the from dates for the insurance plans and the savings plans. But we didn't actually do the savings plan. So let's take a quick peek now and see if they look okay. First thing I'm going to do is check my employer level. Nothing there. So we're good. Next check, I need to detail each plan. Well, that's got a from and a to date. That looks good. Click Next. There's my second plan. There's my third plan. Aha! 401k-F, flat amount deduction. This is going to be missing. So I'm going to fill in my date, December 31st, 2099. Click Apply. And I'm going to expire coverage. So it's saying you've entered an expiration date of 2099 for a benefit plan. Therefore, all employees and dependents enrolled in this plan will have their coverage expire no later than this date. That's exactly what I want. So I'm going to expire coverage. Click Next. Oh, here's my other plan. Gotta fix this one also while I'm here. Click Apply. Same question, expire coverage. Click OK to save. Now when I go back into my open enrollment section for savings plans, I still have the two listed here, but when I click Add, aha, I've got my other two plans. This is making sense now. It's all coming together. Well, in our example, for open enrollment, we won't be using savings plans. We're only going to be using benefit insurance plans. So I'm going to cancel out of here. On page 9, we're in the section called Select Benefit Plan and Rate Tables to be used in open enrollment. In the second paragraph, if you've printed this off, I like you to highlight that second paragraph. It's very important. And it's stating that when you're in open enrollment, in this section right here, is where information is shared with ESS. Once an open enrollment processes, once it completes the information from the open enrollment area, it will be pushed to your existing benefit plans, updating the plans automatically. Okay, so that's a very important concept to understand. 2 paragraphs down. Before you select a plan in the open enrollment area, ensure you have entered all the necessary information for each plan, especially the start and end dates for the plan, which we have verified. So, step 1, you want to go into your Setup Employees, Open Enrollment, Savings Plans, where we just were, and make sure that everything is added. And it is. Everything looks good. But in step number 4, which is over on page 9, at the end of step number 4, it says, for our training, we'll not be bringing over any additional savings plans. So we're just going to leave them as is. So this brings up to step number 5. And we're in enrollment insurance plans. And we want to ensure that the new medical plan is added. So new medical is here. We're good to go. Now there's another section. Now when you navigate, you can use the rule type to navigate, or you can go back to the main menu. I want to go into the open enrollment rate table setup. And I want to make changes. So my open enrollment is a calendar year plan. The plan runs from January 1st next year to December 31st. And the open enrollment is going to start November 1st. I need to change a rate table. On the original med rate table, the carrier has informed me that the prices are going to increase by $20 for order number 2 through 6 in my rate table. So I need to come in here and update it. So this rate here will be $497, $370, $620. Click Apply. Now don't worry, we're in the open enrollment section. This is not affecting the original benefit insurance plans that your employees currently have. We are not touching those rates. This is only what ESS reads from. Once you start your open enrollment in ESS, you close it, you update your open enrollment, that is when the amounts from your open enrollment table are pushed over to your benefit insurance plans and your savings plans. So for right now, everything is fine because they're separate tables. So there's a note I'd like to bring everyone's attention to at the bottom of step number 6. Has the light bulb. Please note that any changes made to rate tables located in the enrollment rate table setup page will affect your open enrollment rates only and not your current rate table amounts. Only when the open enrollment amounts have completed will these rates update your current rate table amounts. If there was a change in my open enrollment insurance plan, everything's at the enterprise level, I can come into my dental and I can make a change here. So maybe let's see here, the dependent coverage amount was changing from $1,500 to $1,600. You simply have to change it here, and you're not touching anything in your benefit insurance setup. Click Apply, and if I go back to my employees, insurance plans, I have not changed anything over here. Well, now you're ready to begin the ESS open enrollment setup. So we have now gone through and made sure everything in HRMS is correct. On the last page of the handout, I like to direct your attention to links and contact information that's very beneficial. The first link is to Sage City, the HRMS forum. So let me bring up my browser here. And I'm going to go to sagecity.com. And I'll just take you the long way in case I didn't have this handy little link. I can go into my support groups for the United States. And again, there's many different ways to navigate Sage City. I'm going to go down to the Sage HRMS product. And we have tabs at the top here. And the forum that we're talking to here is a great place to ask product questions, share tips and tricks with other businesses, other experts, your peers. The second link we have is the Sage HRMS training. Now, earlier I asked everyone to post your questions you have in the questions section and not in the chat. That's because this is the area where we're going to be uploading all the questions and answers. So we've got Clay Stauffer and Robin Wright maintaining and answering any questions you have during this presentation. So when we're done, or if you have any questions you think of, 5 minutes from now, you can still post them and we will upload them. Another link is to Sage University, which we went to earlier, sageu.com, where you can log on, you can see what training courses are available. We've also got the telephone number and email address for Sage University if you have any questions. Don't forget the discount code. It's listed here on the last page of the handout for 10% off any Sage HRMS instructor-led training. And the last link we have, I want to demo that here. You've probably already been here. It is getsage.com/HRMS learning series. Is where you came to register. This is where we're going to update an on-demand recording that we've just done today. So if you want to listen to this presentation again, this is where you're going to do it. You're going to come to the registration page. It's also where you can come and see those other learning series, the expiring benefits, crystal reporting. You can sign up for those if you haven't done so already. Let's go back to the PowerPoint. So in summary today, we've verified that the insurance benefit plans and savings plans are set up correctly. We've created a new benefit plan with a rate table and made it available to be used in open enrollment. We've copied a rate table. I went into an existing insurance plan, dental, and I changed the amount. We've selected which benefit plans in HRMS will be available to use in ESS open enrollment. As a reminder, the material used in this learning session is part of the ESS benefit enrollment called From Start to Finish on Sage University. So if you want the full training, please go in there. We would love to have you in our classes. Another ESS course you may want to review the contents of is From Setup to Effective Use. This covers ESS customizations, day-to-day usage, view builder, system maintenance, and so much more. So here's some of those links we talked about, the sageu.com/HRMS, and the code for 10% off training. If you have questions and answers, and you want to see what the answers are, you can go to the Sage HRMS training forum located on Sage City. I'd like to pause for a moment and turn everything over to Clay Stauffer, who's been managing any questions that you have in chat. Clay, can you review some of the posted questions we have?
Hey everyone, yes Lynn, I can. And we only received 2, but they're both good ones. One I actually had a chance to answer, and one is brand new, so I'll just answer it right here. I'm going to go in backwards order. So the question we just got was, what about creating a benefit code for a voluntary benefit like flat fee union dues remittances? Would the steps be essentially the same? And yes, they would. So going in there and creating those benefit plans, you could absolutely create a plan for a flat fee and have it taken out. And you can even use rate tables depending if there are any variances in that fee. So yes, exactly, well, not exactly the same, but close enough the same that definitely get in there, play around with it, and using the handout, and you should be able to come up with a solution. And if not, once again, we have our support department, you have Sage City, and we have our class on Sage U. So I will answer that after I'm done talking now, so that answer will appear in your question and answer, but I wanted to address that first. Second question, or which was actually the first question, was what the kids these days call meta, but it is an excellent question. And the question was, do business partners, our business partners and our implementers, our installers, do they have access to information such as we are sharing with you all today? And that answer is absolutely they do. In fact, I'll go one more past that. And not only do they have access, whenever we build content like this, is we work and rely on our business partners when building this content. So we kind of are in lockstep with them, and they are a huge part of any content that we create just because they're amazing, the experts in the field. So that's really it, Lynn. Just 2 questions. They are 2 excellent ones, and I'll make sure to answer them and get them up on Sage U for everyone.
Thanks, Clay. Well, we'll be hanging out here for about another 5 or 10 minutes. So if anyone does have any questions, please feel free to post them. And again, we're going to get them uploaded to Sage City, Sage HRMS forums. So it's pretty much time to wrap everything up. And I'd like to remind everyone to be sure to look for our next learning series on October 30th for expiring benefits. I'd like to thank everyone for attending today's learning series on setting up open enrollment in Sage HRMS. Goodbye for now.